Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Professor Yalengi. You are watching Congo Coalition TV. This is a show we're doing in English every Sunday. And today is April 5th, 2020. And this is about maybe the fourth show that we do in English. So please follow us. And before we start the show, and that I introduce the title of the day, we are doing this show in English every Sunday under the show on YouTube, Congo Coalition TV. However, Congo Coalition also does do two more shows in the Congolese or DRC's lingua franca language called Lingala under Congo Coalition, but those are, one of them is Liloba TV, the other one is Liloba Moto. So we do those during the week. And today, on Sunday, we had started doing a show in English. So as I start this show, I always say I do these shows in the name of Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, who's my protector, my savior, and my all in all. And I am Professor Yalengi coming to you from the United States of America. This show is for the English-speaking audience, no matter where you are. And we ask you, please, to send this to every one of your contacts, asking them to subscribe to Congo Coalition in English language on Sundays, in the Lingala language, most of the time on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So please, our YouTube account is Congo Coalition, 2 words. Our Facebook account is Congo with a K and Coalition with also a K. And our telephone number, our WhatsApp telephone number is 929 area code 929-800-0153. 929-800-0153. So here we go. Our title of today's show is, of course, Congo Coalition TV, Rwandan-Occupied DRC, Part 3, Rwandan Unique Culture, parentheses, Ubwenge. The title again is Congo Coalition TV, Rwandan-Occupied DRC, Part 3, Rwandan Unique Culture, in parentheses, Ubwenge. We are doing this third part on Ubwenge because it's so very, very fundamental to understanding not only what has been going on inside the Rwanda, but what went on even prior to the 1994 genocide in Rwanda, and what is going on right now in DRC, in Uganda, in the African Great Lakes region. Unless you understand Rwandan culture, you can never, ever fathom or understand what is going on with and in the African Great Lakes region. Thank you, young man. Engin Métier is just joined us. Thank you very much. And we hope that the many people who speak English will join us in order for us to partake of this knowledge. When we begin, as you have the title now, and we have the picture of Paul Kagame at the beginning of this show, it's because Paul Kagame is the master who, since 1994, with the Rwandan genocide, until today, with the multiple crimes that have been going on in DRC, he's the master that controls everything. That's why we put Paul Kagame's picture. And we want everybody to know, especially our English-speaking audience, Americans, Canadians, Europeans, Australians, those who speak English, who are going to follow us to understand this. If you're here for the first time on this show about Ubwenge, you need to understand that it is a fact Ubwenge is a fact that has been hidden from most of the world. Let me repeat. If you hear about this unique culture of Rwandan culture, Ubwenge, today on this show, if this is for the first time, you are not the only one, because the whole world does not know about this culture of Rwandans all over the world, whether they are Tutsis or Hutus, but mostly Tutsis. This is a unique culture. And that's why we're doing this third part, for the world to understand that Rwandans have a specific and unique culture, different from the whole world, different for the total entire world. There's no part of the world where lying is something that they practice or that they aspire to or that they are trained into, telling lies. There's no culture in the world, whether it is black, white, red, yellow, there's no culture in the world that accepts lying as something that they value, something that they teach their children, something that is part of their culture, except among Rwandans, especially Rwandan Tutsis. That's why we want everybody, to share this video to understand who or what culture Rwandans use. Because the whole world has been lied to. Next week, we are going to begin to deal with the impact of this culture on, we're going to start with American and Canadian governments, agencies, and even spiritual leaders. We are going to show next week how Paul Kagame's Rwandans have even lied to the American, the Canadian, both governments, religious institutions, education institutions, leaders, both political and otherwise. That's what we're going to do next week. Today, we want to follow and focus on the culture itself, Ubwenge. Last week, I defined Ubwenge, and by the way, I am not using my opinion. I am not using what my research showed me so that I'm giving you my own interpretation of the evidence. No, on this show, I am quoting words from Rwandans themselves, mostly Rwandan Tutsis themselves, because some Rwandan Tutsis have been saved, if I dare say so, by Christianity. And the religion of Christianity says that thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. In other words, you shall not lie. Lying is a sin according to Christianity. And so that there are a few Rwandans who have been saved through Christianity, and therefore they totally rejected the culture of their ancestors, which is founded on lies. So these Rwandans have written documents, and these documents, those are the ones that I'm using to share with you, so you know it's not coming from me. In other words, without knowledge, the people perish. So don't think yourself that you are too intelligent, you are too much of a leader, you got a PhD, a master's degree, or bachelor's degree, or you an engineer, or you a religious leader, or you preach the word of God, therefore you know the culture of the Rwandans. Because everybody in the world has been taken in by this Rwandan culture called Ubwenge. In fact, as I begin, let me give you a document that just came out a couple of months ago, I think, written by a Rwandan Tutsi, PhD, who had worked with Paul Kagame twice. then had to run for his life because Paul Kagame kills anyone that disagrees with him. This person is Dr. David Himbara, H-I-M as in Mary, B as in boy, A-R-A. Dr. David Himbara just wrote a document or an article titled, Kagame's Rwanda is a serial lying nation. Kagame's Rwanda is a serial lying nation. So I'm asking you, those of you who want to learn more, who want to know more, who want to grow in understanding who Rwandans really are, you need to read this document. Besides that, the document that is fundamental, I gave you, there are two documents. One of them was written by a Rwandan Tutsi prince by the name of Antoine Nyetera, N-Y-E-T-E-R-A, Nyetera, Antoine Nyetera. The title of this document is Rwandan Mindset and Culture, column, a document. Rwandan Mindset and Culture, column, a document. This document by Antoine Nyetera, he wrote and published it. He had a website that hosted this document. It was in French. Then in 2012, when Antoine Nyetera passed away, Paul Kagame's computer experts went in there and blocked the site so that nobody could ever read this document, which was in French. Thank God we had downloaded this document before 2012 when we discovered about Ubwenge and we started studying it. So when we found out that Paul Kagame's minions have blocked this site, what we did was we republished the document in French and we translated the document from French into English and we published it as Rwandan Mindset and Culture, a document. So if you type that on the internet, you're going to download the document. It's in English. You can read it. So this document is important. The other one that we spoke to you about, from which we read the definition last week, is the one that says that the culture of lying in Rwanda. The culture of lying in Rwanda. This one also was written by a Rwandan who lives, he's still alive, he's in France, but in France, his name is Gaspard, G-A-R-P-A-R-D, Gaspard Musabimana. Musabimana, M-U-S-A-B-Y-I-M-A-N-A, Musabimana, Gaspard Musabimana. So those two documents are like the foundation for you to understand, because in both of these documents, both Musabimana and Antoine Nyetera, they collected information, including their own understanding of their culture, but they even quoted Europeans who had been to Africa who researched on that particular and unique culture, the Rwandan culture, and these people wrote about this culture. For this culture, most of the work was done by Germans who colonized what we call today Rwanda, what we call today Burundi, and what we call today Tanzania. These three countries made up what was called Germany's East African colony. Germany's East African colony. So these three countries comprised that colony, was one land and colony of Germany from 1884-85 until 1919. And the Germans, while they colonized Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi, Rwanda and Burundi used to comprise one small, tiny kingdom called Rwanda-Urundi. So the Germans, as they colonized these people, they discovered that that particular part of Rwanda, Urundi, the people called the Tutsis, who, when the German ones there, the Tutsi were the kings, even though they were a minority, they're the one who were ruling over the Hutus. Actually, if you read how Rwandan Tutsis mistreated the Hutus tears will come down your eyes. But the Germans saw that these people constantly, continuously, always lied and never told the truth. So therefore, the German began to study this particular and unique culture. So in these two documents that I just gave you, when you read them, you're going to find out what both Gaspard Musabyimana, in a document called Rwandan Culture of Lying, or the Culture of Lying in Rwanda, I'm sorry, by Gaspard Musabyimana, and then read the other one by Antoine Yetera, Rwandan Mindset and Culture, a document. If you read these two documents, you are going to begin to understand who really are Rwandans. Why? Because Rwandans lie. Their culture, the culture of Rwanda, is a culture that is based or founded on lies. I gave you the definition that Musabyimana wrote. Again, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and everybody else, I am using what Rwandans themselves wrote. I'm not making this up. I just gave you the documents. You need to study. You need to understand. Why? Because if you don't understand, you will never know. There are people who say to us, no, man, you know, Africans don't do that. Africans don't behave like that. Africans are human beings just like Europeans, just like Americans, just like Asians. They are no different from European and Asians. All human beings are human beings. We are all one race, Homo sapiens sapiens. Or they will say in religion, we are all created in the image of God. But the fact of the matter is there is evil and there is good. Evil and good don't have colors. So if you act as if you are naive, you don't think that a black man can kill another black man, or a white man cannot kill another white man, or an Asian cannot kill another Asian, then you're not living in this world where we live today. So that's why I'm saying I am quoting from what Rwandans themselves wrote. The definition that Musabyimana gave about Ubwenge is this. He said, the culture of telling lies called Ubwenge is in Rwanda an undeniable cultural fact. This is a Rwandan writing about his own culture. He's defining it. Then he says, the manifestations of this culture can be observed even today. Even today, you can see the manifestations of the culture of lying called Ubwenge by Rwandans, even today in Rwanda. This word has no equivalent in French because he wrote the definition in French. So he says this word Ubwenge has no equivalent in French. You see, he calls it the culture of lying in Rwanda, right? But yet, that culture is more than just lying. That's why he says it doesn't have an equivalent word in French. Why? Because in French, lying will say, in French, mensonge as a noun, or mentir, to tell lies, as a verb, right? But he's saying that this word, Ubwenge, has no equivalent in French. Why? He says, it combines together the French words for these things I'm going to cite now. In other words, for you to understand Ubwenge, that it's not just a lie, you have to combine these words that I'm going to list right now. When you combine them, you get a picture of what Ubwenge is, the Rwandan culture is. And yeah, I know you're going to be edified even more next week when we begin to look at the impact of this culture in all that Rwandans are doing all over the world. You are going to be shocked and surprised beginning next week. So Musabyimana says this culture of his people, Rwandans, combines together these words, the words for intelligence, lies, cunning or deviousness, shrewdness, duplicity, concealment, and treachery. If you take all these words, you combine them, they begin to give you an example of what Ubwenge is. That's what Musabyimana defines it. But then Musabyimana even told us of a Rwandan prime minister who said it publicly that all Rwandans lie. And this happened in 1994, before the beginning of the Rwandan genocide. The former Rwandan prime minister, Agathe Uwilingiyimana, declared when? On January 8, 1994, the Rwandan genocide is gonna be triggered on April 6, 1994, when Paul Kagame shoots down the plane that was carrying the president of Rwanda and of Burundi, Habyarimana and Ntaryamira. But on January, 3 months prior, January 8, 1994, in front of the Rwandan president, Juvenal Habyarimana, and the head of the United Nations mission to Rwanda, in front of them, the Prime Minister of Rwanda declared, quote, "Rwandans are liars, and it is a part of their culture." The Rwandan Prime Minister said this. Rwandans are liars, and it is a part of their culture. I didn't say that. The Prime Minister of Rwanda said that in Rwanda, in front of the Rwandan president and the United Nations representative in Rwanda. Then she added, she said, from childhood, they are taught to not tell the truth, especially if it can hurt them. From childhood, they are taught to not tell the truth, especially if it can hurt them. Now, see, all over the world, nobody knows that Rwandans, their culture is based on lies. You are going to see when we speak on that, on the impacts of this culture on the world. Presidents, ministers, secretaries of states, United Nations officials, heads of governments, heads of religious institutions, all have been lied to, and they believe what they were told, because that's the culture of Rwanda. They have been taught to not tell the truth. In fact, as the Prime Minister says, from childhood, they are taught to not tell the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you know any Rwandans, if you have come in contact with any Rwandans, you've spoken to any Rwandans, if you ask the Rwandans about Rwanda, about his past, about what he is going through, you believe he's telling you the truth, he's lying to you. He or she can be crying, tears coming down, and you believe her, but yet she's telling you lies. Why? Because I said it last week, as the Prime Minister says, there's a saying in Rwanda, in the language called Kinyarwanda, that says in English that the truth kills. The truth kills. That's why, as the Prime Minister says, they are taught from childhood to tell lies, to never tell the truth, because they are taught from childhood that the truth kills. Therefore, you can never tell the truth. So that's the culture of Rwanda, of Rwandans who called Ubwenge. In Kinyarwanda, and this is two words that I learned from actually the writing of both Musabyimana and Antoine Yetera. They wrote these words because somebody asked me, said, well, how do you know the Kinyarwanda? Well, I do not know the Kinyarwanda, but These two words are given in the documents written by Rwandans themselves that says ukuli kurazirua. And then they translate, they say ukuli kurazirua means the truth kills. And therefore, no Rwandan can tell you the truth, even while they are crying. Okay? So this is one thing that you and I need to know and to understand, that Rwandans don't tell the truth. Now, today I wanted to quote from the father of Rwandan culture, the philosopher, the Rwandan father of philosophy, the Rwandan father of understanding who a Rwandan is, who wrote about it. He was actually also a Catholic priest, Monsignor. His name was Alexis Kagame. And he wrote in the 50s, he was always defending Rwandan culture of lying, even though he was a Catholic priest. So he says this, Monsignor Alexis Kagame, this is from the document that I gave you that was written by Musabimana, Gaspard Musabimana, The Culture of Lying in Rwanda. When you download it, you're going to read it, you're going to find this passage. He writes, Monsignor Alexis Kagame, who compared this Ubwenge to the European instruction or education, right? Monsignor Alexis Kagame was comparing the culture, the Rwandan culture, right? That includes what? Intelligence, rules, lies, manipulations, and all of that. So in other words, it includes intelligence. I told you last week that they call it science. Rwandans call the culture of lying a science that they have mastered. So Alexis Kagame, he said this. He used to compare the Ubwenge to the European education or instruction, or what we call knowledge, regularly said about the Europeans and all whites in general that, quote, the whites have knowledge, but they are not intelligent. I repeat, this Monsignor Alexis Kagame, the father of Rwandan culture, the father of Rwandan philosophy, the father of Rwandan foundation of knowledge, he used to always compare European knowledge and Rwandan knowledge, which is called intelligence, which is called science. What they call science is Ubwenge, this culture that includes all those words that I shared with you. So he used to say, whites have knowledge, but they are not intelligent. He used to say this regularly about Europeans and all whites in general. So while you, whether you white, whether you Asians, whether you black, when you are before a Rwandans and the Rwandans is lying, the Rwandans is crying, the Rwandan is weeping, the Rwandan is showing that, you know, they are weak and they've been doing that, this was done to them, this was done to them, and you believe that and you fall for that, it is a way for the Rwandans to demonstrate that you are not intelligent. Why you are not intelligent? Because you are not intelligent because you cannot detect when they are lying to you. You cannot detect when they are lying to you. I read to you what another Rwandan said about that, right? I read it to you last week. Why they say that white people and Europeans in general, white people in general are not intelligent. They have knowledge. In other words, they know how to do math, science, and all of that, but they are not intelligent. Why do they say that? Why do they say that? Another Rwandan Catholic priest, right, by the name of Stanislas Bushayia. Let me see if I can find the year when he wrote this. In 1958, I suppose. Yeah. This Catholic priest also said this about this Rwandan culture. Why Alexis Kagame is saying that white people in general and Europeans in particular, they have knowledge, but they are not intelligent? Because Stanislas right here, he says, if the Tutsi acknowledge the Europeans' abilities in the technical field, such as electricity, physics, mathematics, what Alexis Kagame calls knowledge, right? If the Mutuchi acknowledges the Europeans' intelligence of the books, intelligence of the books, they mean like, again, math, science, electricity. The Mutuchi deplores the European lack of craftiness of the spirit. For the Tutsis, Europeans don't have the craftiness of the spirit. What do they mean by that? Knowing how to distort, to disguise, to misrepresent the truth, knowing how to substitute the truth with a lie without arousing any suspicion whatsoever. Right? That's what Mutuchi is an expert on. He said, knowing how to do this. He says, this is a science. He calls it a science. This is a science that the Europeans lacks. This is a science that the European lacks. That's why Alexis Kagame says Europeans have knowledge, but they are not intelligent, because the Europeans do not know, according for the Tutsis, do not know how to distort, how to disguise, how to misrepresent the truth, how to substitute the truth with a lie without arousing any suspicion whatsoever. This is a science that the European lacks, and the Mutuchi is proud to possess. They call them the genius of truth, hiding the truth. The art of lying are, in the eyes of the Mutuchi, art forms that he prides himself of being really good at. Okay? So this is something that the Rwandan Tutsi is not going to tell you. The Rwandan Tutsi is not going to reveal to you. I'm revealing it to you because I am not a Rwandan, I'm not a Tutsi or a Hutu. I am a Congolese, American Congolese, who has been involved in trying to figure out how can Rwanda, this tiny country, controls this huge landmass called the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I was wondering with my colleagues here in America, teachers and professionals, we did not understand how could America be giving asylum and refugee status to people that we saw as they were coming here. We knew right away that they were Rwandan Tutsis, and yet America was calling them Congolese from the DRC. We did not know. We were trying to figure out why women are being gang raped and mutilated in Eastern Congo, little children being slaughtered with machetes, with hoes, just like Rwandans did to each other in Rwanda from 1990 until 1994, 5, 6, 7. How come that was being done in the Congo, and yet people were not speaking about it? Because we tried to figure out, that's how in 2014, we uncovered a document in America, a false document written by Rwandans, founded on Ubwenge, in which Rwandans, Tutsis, were putting themselves in the Congo prior to 1800. And as we investigated, because we knew that was not the truth, that's when we discovered that they were lying, but they lied so well, so good, so perfect, that the American government, American immigration services, American religious leaders, Americans who were people of goodwill fell for it. They believed it. They believed these lies, beginning with the American President Bill Clinton. We're going to talk about it next week. So that's why we began to study this culture. And that's why we have to share it with you, ladies and gentlemen, who are English speaking, so that you can discover this. And that's why in the beginning I gave you the document by David Himbara, because Dr. David Himbara is a Rwandan Tutsi. He's still alive. He's hiding. The Canadian government is protecting him because Paul Kagame is trying to kill him. A Rwandan Tutsi like Paul Kagame. And those of you who are Christians or who are Christian leaders in America and who still fell from this culture of lying, who are still supporting Paul Kagame's Rwanda, just a couple of months ago, he killed a young Rwandan Tutsi survivor of the genocide of 1994 who accepted Jesus Christ and who therefore believed in the truth that Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life," and who began to sing about true reconciliation between the Rwandan Hutus and the Rwandan Tutsis in Rwanda. Paul Kagame killed this boy. His name is Kizito Mihigo. So this culture, therefore, that's what it is about. And every one of you need to study and to understand it. And I was going to read something, but I think I'll save it for next week when we begin to speak about the impacts of this culture on the whole world. Especially, we're going to begin with the American government and the Canadian government. We're going to demonstrate to you how the Rwandan Tutsis have lied to the American government and into institutions, into Canadian government institutions, and these Rwandans have usurped or stolen Congolese identities that they used to put themselves in Eastern Congo in the 1800s. That's why in my introduction on these shows, you can go back to my first show that I did here, where I introduced the East African colony of Germany that it comprised Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. Because Rwanda, Urundi was a tiny kingdom that was together with Tanzania. Today, no people from Tanzania says that they used to be in a Congo prior to 1800. No person from Burundi says that they used to be in a Congo in the 1800. Only the Rwandan Tutsis. Because Paul Kagame's Rwandans, they have this power, hunger. They want to control the entire Central African countries, and they want to make of these, everybody who lives in Central Africa, their servants and their slaves. They have taken over Rwanda from the majority Hutus. They have taken over the DRC. That's why we always start with Rwandan-controlled DRC, Rwandan-Occupied DRC, because DRC is under Rwandan occupation, officially from 2001. That's the dream. That's what Paul Kagame and the Rwandans are about. That's what the objectives are. And that's why they have moved, come to America, lied, went to Canada, lied. I'm going to start with those two countries because this is where I live. And we want to demonstrate that Americans and Canadians, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care whether you're white or black. I read to you the words of Alexis Kagame, who says, whites, Europeans have knowledge, but they are not intelligent. It doesn't matter whether the person you're talking to is crying, is weeping, say, "Oh, they're killing us in Eastern Congo, and we are Congolese Tutsis, or we are Congolese Banyamulengo, we are Congolese this, and we've been there in 1800. They are lying to you. You are being manipulated through Ubwenge. So that's why we are here to show the facts, to bring it out. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are an officer of the government, if you are an officer of a religious officer, a religious leader, whatever you are, Canada, the United States, go back and read these two documents that I gave to you. But begin with David Himbara, because David Himbara is still alive. Dr. David Himbara, as I said, Paul Kagame is trying to kill him. So that's why he wrote this document saying Kagame's Rwanda is a serial lying nation. Kagame's Rwanda is a serial lying nation. Read that, and then you can study these two documents. These two documents. The first one by Gaspard Musabimana, The Culture of Lying in Rwanda. Download it. It's just a couple of pages. Study it, read it, understand it. See what Rwandans think about their own culture and why they think white folks, Europeans, are not intelligent. You're not intelligent. I told you why, as I read to you what the Rwandan-Tutsi, the other priest, wrote. And then read the document by Antoine Yetera, Rwandan Mindset and Culture, a document. Rwandan Mindset and Culture, a document. So read those documents. And then next week, we are going to begin to speak about the impacts of this Rwandan culture of lying, manipulating, ruse, trying to hide the truth and all of that. What Rwandans call science. We're going to talk about its impacts on American leaders, American government, American religious institutions, American systems, and both Americans and Canadians. Because today, as I'm speaking to you, in Eastern Congo, Rwandans are gang raping little children. Rwanda are slaughtering men, women, and children. Rwandans are stealing Congolese resources. But Rwandans are lying to the international community. They are lying to the outside world by saying that the Congolese people, they are Congolese, and therefore the Rwandans have the right to get these resources in the Congo. They are not killing Congolese. In fact, they tell lies that what's happening in Eastern Congo is an inter-ethnic struggles. Inter-ethnic struggles. That you have ethnics that originally from Rwanda who are minorities, they are struggling against ethnics, Congolese ethnics that are majority, which is again Ubwenge or lies. So we're going to talk about that next week. So I'm not going to be long today. I wanted to do this third part for you to understand what Ubwenge is. And I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please share this with everybody. Please, please, please share this with every English-speaking person and tell them to download these documents, to read them, and remind them that Professor Yalengi is not making these things up. I just gave to you documents written by Rwandans themselves, including quoting from a Rwandan prime minister. The sooner the world is going to wake up to knowing what Rwandan culture is and who is a Rwandan and how they think, how they act, based on what. The sooner we do that, the better it's going to be for the people of the African Great Lakes regions. That's including those who are in Rwanda, both Tutsis and Hutus, and the entire African Great Lakes region, especially the DRC, where as of today, more than 12 million Congolese have been killed by Rwandans, mostly Rwandan Tutsis. So, to close, I want to introduce you to one of our books. One of our books, right? We call it David's Rock. Remember David, King David, when he was a teenager, he killed Goliath with just one rock, right? We're calling it David's Rock. Why are we calling it David's Rock? Because this book is intended to destroy and to bring down the person you know as Joseph Kabila. Why? Because using Ubwenge, this Rwandan culture, Joseph Kabila, who is a Rwandan Tutsi, who was never a Kabila, who went to the Congo with the Rwandan army, who was an intelligence officer of the Paul Kagame's army. As an intelligent person, he was trained to infiltrate Laurent Desire Kabila. And when the time came, he killed Laurent Desire Kabila. And he took the name of Kabila and using Ubwenge manipulations, as I defined Ubwenge to you, He's been running the Congo from officially 2001 when he killed Laurent Desire Kabila. So this book is titled Joseph Kabila, quote unquote, Identity Thief, Imposter, and Rwandan Trojan Horse in the Congo. Joseph Kabila, quote unquote, Identity Thief, Imposter, and Rwandan Trojan Horse in the Congo. And this book, ladies and gentlemen, it's on Amazon. We put actually one in English and one in French. So if you download or you get this book, share it with others, and you're going to read it yourself, so you understand that this guy called Joseph Kabila is not a Kabila. He's not Congolese. He was never, ever Laurent Desire Kabila's son, whether adopted or biological. Never was he. So you're going to find out not only from Africans' views, but also from Europeans and American views. And you're going to also hear from Rwandan Tutsis themselves, who fought along with this guy and who are going to testify, who are going to say that he is a Rwandan Tutsi who was never a Congolese. This is, again, the result of the manifestation of that culture we call Ubwenge, the Rwandan Tutsi culture. And everybody, most of the world had fallen for it. Even Congolese people did fall for it until we uncovered this and we collected all the evidence from all over the world, put it in this book. So everybody knows that the Congo is a Rwandan-occupied country. Joseph Kabila is a Rwandan Tutsi. He works directly for Paul Kagame. And so everything that is happening in the Congo, as the world has found out, including the American government, European government, they found out that even this guy, Congolese guy called Tshisekedi, who did not win the elections, and they have found out that he does not have power, that the one who controls everything in the Congo is still, quote unquote, Joseph Kabila, whose real name is Hippolyte Kanambe. We recommend this book to you. Get it on Amazon and share it with others. And we're going to stop here so that it won't be so long. So everybody to read it. Please write to us. Write to us on WhatsApp. Those of you that get our email, you can write to us through our email address, right? But if not, you can write to us on WhatsApp, which is easier. The phone number, or our WhatsApp phone number, is area code 929-800-0153. 929-800-0153. That's our WhatsApp number. And please ask everybody to subscribe to our Congo Coalition YouTube account. It's Congo Coalition, 2 words. That's our YouTube account. And please write to us. You have questions, you have comments, write to us and talk to us. And we will respond to you. This is Professor Yalengi coming to you from New York. And we are here to try to bring out the truth that has been hidden from the whole world, right? Because Ubwenge says the truth kills. So therefore, Rwandans never, ever, ever tell the truth. And we are trying to expose that so that people can wake up. Nations, governments, religious leaders, religious institutions, and everybody else. Professor Yaling speaking to you from New York, and we'll see you next Sunday. See you then.